Quite simply, California's election system needs to be updated and modernized. Many counties are using equipment that will soon be too old and worn down to be accurately used. We've introduced the Voting Modernization Bond Act of 2018 to generate $450 million for counties to use on a matching basis for a number of upgrades to how elections are done in California, including a new voting system, expanding early voting, setting up vote centers, and reducing language and disability barriers to voting. This is a modest investment for the health of our democracy. We need to protect and ensure the integrity of elections in California. That's exactly what this bill does. When I said this is the most important thing I'm doing this week, I say that not with hyperbole. At the end of the day, I try to work on big bills and do important things for especially working people throughout California. But at the end of the day, the integrity of our democracy should always matter first and foremost. We can't exist without adequate, we being the legislature, can't exist and can't function. Our election system doesn't function if we don't provide the resources necessary to ensure that everybody can feel secure about our democracy and feel good about their voting procedure. So I do think this is the most important thing we're doing this year, and hope that my colleagues and the governor will agree.
A threat to our California elections is just over the horizon. California voting equipment is at or near, in some cases beyond, life expectancy. And while the due diligence of county elections officials have made sure that these aging systems were used successfully in last year's election, we prevented risk through due diligence and upkeep, there's no doubt that it is past time that California modernize our voting equipment for future elections.
I think we can all agree that our government only works if there's democracy, and we can only have democracy if we can actually vote. We haven't seen the worst case, and we can't afford to see the worst case if we have massive failures in some of these counties on election day. So to avoid that, we know it's been too long. We can't, I don't think any of us would think about using a cell phone from that long ago, and yet we're using voting equipment, sometimes 15 years old, older than my child, my son. So I think it's time that we do this and we hold hands and realize we have to be adults sometimes, raise some money and spend some money in order to ensure that democracy works.